Peter Parker wasn't the only one bitten. His uncle had a daughter, raised in exile by S.H.I.E.L.D. Her powers were locked until the day Aunt May died. Then something snapped. She didn't blame villains. She blamed the Avengers for Peter's pain. And she didn't want revenge. She wanted to erase the name Spider-Man forever. The world had always seen Peter Parker as the boy who lost everything. His parents, his uncle, his peace. But no one ever asked who Ben Parker really was, before the lectures about responsibility, before the ordinary life, before the bullet. Because even Peter didn't know, until the day Aunt May died, and everything that was hidden came back to life. She passed quietly, in a hospital no one could afford, from an illness no Avenger responded to. Not because they didn't care, because they didn't know, because Peter never told them, because some grief is too personal to wear on a cape. But the day after the funeral, while sorting through May's belongings, Peter found a box she had never mentioned. Small, sealed tight, and wrapped in old brown paper. At the bottom was a folded letter, his name on it. Not Peter, not sweetheart, just Parker, for after I'm gone. He read it sitting on the rooftop, alone. Peter, if you're reading this, I'm gone, and you're probably angry. I would be too. But I need you to know something before someone else tells you. Ben had a daughter. Before you. Before me. She was born during his time with the agency. The one no one talks about. She wasn't ordinary. Neither was he. Peter blinked. The words didn't move. They hit. Like bricks. Like truth. They tested something on her. Something they swore would help people. S.H.I.E.L.D. was involved. But it didn't go as planned. She disappeared. They told Ben she died. But he never believed it. He never stopped looking. Her name was Elise. He dropped the letter. His hands were shaking. All those years Uncle Ben said protect your own. He meant something else. Something buried. Something erased. Peter called every contact he had in S.H.I.E.L.D. Fury ignored him. Maria Hill disconnected. Even Strange gave him the look. That look that said don't dig too deep. You won't like what's down there. So Peter broke into the S.H.I.E.L.D. archives himself. No mask. No stealth suit. Just Peter Parker in a hoodie and grief thick enough to rip open secure doors. The file was there. Project Echo 9. Parker, Elise. Status, classified. Redacted lines. Missing footage. Black boxes where faces should be. But he saw enough. Genetic splicing. Accelerated reflex testing. Arachnid blood fusion protocols. 2 years before Peter was ever bitten. She was the prototype. And they called her a failure. Why? He whispered to no one. The screen flickered. Then another file blinked open. Not by him. By someone watching. A blurry image filled the screen. A cabin. A woman standing in the snow. Face covered in a hood. But the body language, the posture, the web lines shooting from her wrists. Not webs. Fibers. Sharper. Colder. Laced with metal. Peter's heart thudded. It was her. She was alive. And she was watching him. Before he could trace the signal, the file erased itself, pixel by pixel, until only 2 words remained. Stay out. That night, every camera in New York glitched for 4 seconds. Just 4. But in those 4 seconds, someone appeared on the rooftop of the Avengers Tower. Alone. Hooded. Still. Looking at the building like it was a gravestone. FRIDAY couldn't identify her. Stark protocols couldn't scan her. Even Vision's old data logs returned static. She left nothing except a spider symbol, drawn in black ash. But not Peter's. Hers was split down the middle like it had cracked and bled. Peter didn't sleep. He rebuilt the footage frame by frame, trying to read her face, to see something familiar. But all he saw was fury. Not loud, not theatrical, personal. Grief turned inward. Blame pointed at one man. Him. He finally tracked a signal to an abandoned Oscorp biolab just outside New Jersey. Off the books. Covered in vines. The type of place even villains forgot existed. He went alone. No backup. No plan. Just the need to understand. Inside, the walls were lined with failed experiments, spiders preserved in fluid, mutated limbs in jars, and one chair in the center. She was already there, not hiding, waiting. "You weren't supposed to find me," she said, voice sharp like glass breaking under silk. "But I guess May always believed in fairy tales." Peter stepped forward slowly. "You're Elise." "I was. Before S.H.I.E.L.D. labeled me a weapon. Before they turned my father into a liar. Before they let him die while protecting someone else's legacy." Peter froze. Elise stepped into the light. Her suit wasn't like his. No cloth. No bright red. It was matte black with red veins, not painted alive. It pulsed. Her eyes were uncovered. Green, but cold. "You think the Avengers are heroes," she said, circling him. "They're not. They're cover stories. Gloss over sacrifice. You were a child when they let your uncle die. When they let May suffer in silence. All for what? So you could become their pet project." Peter opened his mouth, but nothing came out. "They knew," she hissed. "Natasha knew. Stark knew. Fury? He signed the papers that erased me." She threw something at his feet. A photograph. Elise. Ben. Holding hands outside a S.H.I.E.L.D. facility. And next to them, Nick Fury, smiling. "I've watched you since you put on the mask," she said. "Watched you bleed for a world that let our family rot. And now you stand here asking me if I'm Elise? No, Peter. I'm what happens when the web breaks." She shot a thread, not silk, but blade. Peter barely dodged. "I don't want to fight you," he said, panting. "Good," she replied, raising both arms. "Then this will be easy." The lab exploded in motion. Metallic web versus organic silk. Brother versus the sister no one told him he had. Every hit she landed felt like guilt. Every move she dodged felt like a question he couldn't answer. And through it all, her voice stayed calm. "You could have looked for me years ago. I didn't know. You didn't ask." With a final pulse, she vanished through a tear in the ceiling, leaving Peter surrounded by echoes. And one final message burned into the wall. "Spider-Man is a lie." Peter couldn't breathe. Smoke rose from the shattered Oscorp lab, the walls still humming with the aftershock of Elise's escape. Dust coated his hair. His suit was ripped from where her metallic webs grazed him. Those threads cut deeper than knives. He stared at the burn marks on the wall, where her message still glowed like a fresh wound. "Spider-Man is a lie." He knew she was angry. He knew she was hurt. But the thing he couldn't explain, the thing that tore him apart, was how she moved like him before he even reacted. She didn't mirror him. She predicted him, his strengths, his guilt, his hesitation. She knew him better than he knew himself. Peter staggered to his feet, grabbing the photo she dropped. Ben Parker. A daughter no one told him about. S.H.I.E.L.D's shadow looming behind them. The photo shook in his hand. Ben was smiling, but Elise wasn't. Even as a child, her eyes looked like she already understood she wasn't going to be allowed a normal life. "What did they do to you?" Peter whispered. He heard a metallic click behind him. A drone floated down, glowing with blue, Stark-like energy. Peter tensed, ready for a fight. But the drone projected a hologram. Tony Stark. Not the real one. The AI version that Ironheart and Friday managed to preserve. "Kid," Stark said, arms crossed, voice sharp, "we need to talk." Peter exhaled, but didn't relax. "Did you know about her?" Tony didn't answer immediately, which was his answer. Peter's fists clenched. "Kid." No, Peter stepped forward. "Tell me the truth." Stark sighed, rubbing his face like he used to when alive. "We found the file years ago. S.H.I.E.L.D. buried it deep. Fury shut down anyone trying to access it. Rogers, Natasha, me, all of us hit the same wall. You could have told me. You were 16. Tony snapped. You were barely handling your own trauma. You think I was going to drop, by the way, you have a genetically modified super cousin raised in a government cage on your homework schedule." Peter glared at the projection. "She thinks you erased her. All of you." Tony looked away. "We didn't erase her. We couldn't reach her. Fury locked her behind black-level clearance. Even I couldn't hack that." Peter swallowed. "Well, she's out now." Tony nodded. "And she's angry." She wants to destroy everything you built, Peter said. She blames you all. She blames me. Tony tilted his head. She should. We failed her. Peter's breath caught. Tony rarely admitted failure. But, Tony continued, that doesn't mean we let her burn the world. Peter shook his head. She's not a villain. She's me. If I lost everything before I even had a chance to live. Kid, trauma doesn't justify murder. She attacked you. She didn't try to kill me. Yet. Peter opened his mouth, but the drone cut him off. Suit up. Satellite picked up a signal. She hit one of the Avengers' old safe houses. Peter's eyes widened. Whose? Natasha's. The safe house lay hidden under a closed factory in Brooklyn, the kind of place only a ghost could find. Peter swung through the dark, pulled by dread. Natasha had known Elise, had trained with her, had helped cover up the project. What did Elise want from her? When he entered the safe house, the lights flickered on automatically. And there she was, Natasha Romanoff, or rather, a recording of her, a triggered hollow message. Her voice echoed through the empty room. Peter, if you're seeing this, Elise is alive. Peter froze. Natasha continued. I never believed she died. S.H.I.E.L.D. lied to everyone, even Fury. They wanted a prototype they could control. She wasn't one. She was stronger than expected, smarter than predicted, and worse, she could read people. Not thoughts, not minds, people. The kind of reading that sees what breaks them. Peter's chest tightened. Natasha wasn't done. I tried to save her. They took her away before I could. I wasn't fast enough. Tell her, I'm sorry. The recording ended. Peter stood alone. Then he turned, and Elise was standing behind him. His heart stopped. She wasn't in her suit. She was in a dark coat, hood down, her face visible in the soft light. She looked younger than he expected. Tired, angry, human. You're following me, she said, and you're breaking into S.H.I.E.L.D. safe houses. They broke into my life first. Her voice was quiet, but sharp enough to slice. Peter took a slow step toward her. Natasha tried to save you. Elise's jaw twitched. Don't defend her. She left a message for you. I don't want her guilt. Elise's voice cracked just slightly. I want the truth. You already have it, Peter said. S.H.I.E.L.D. lied. They stole your life. But the Avengers didn't kill you. They didn't erase you. S.H.I.E.L.D. is the Avengers, she snapped. Same machine, different masks. Peter hesitated. Elise didn't. She walked right up to him, close enough he could see the flecks of gold in her green eyes. You think you're the only one who lost family? They stole mine. They took Ben away from me. They locked me up like a mistake they wanted to forget. Her voice broke again, but she pushed through. But you, she pointed at his chest. They gave you everything. A suit, a team, a stage, a legacy. Peter shook his head. I never wanted any of it. Then why didn't you reject it? Because I didn't know you existed. Elise stepped back. For the first time, Peter saw something new in her expression. Doubt. Not of him. Of everything she believed. What do you want from me? Peter asked softly. Elise looked down at her hands, flexing her fingers. A faint red glow pulsed under her skin. When they experimented on me, she whispered, they said I didn't take the mutation right. That I broke too fast. That my powers were unstable. Peter's breath caught. They weren't unstable. They were evolving. She lifted her eyes. I can feel the city breathing, Peter. I can feel its heartbeat. I can feel every lie inside it. And I know something you don't. Tell me. Her voice dropped to a lethal whisper. You weren't supposed to be Spider-Man. I was. Peter blinked. What? The spider that bit you? She stared at him like she was staring through him. It wasn't random. It wasn't an accident. It was meant for me. Oscorp sent it out to track me. But I was gone, so it found you instead. Peter stumbled back like she had punched him. Everything he believed, the responsibility, the destiny, the meaning, cracked. Elise watched the pain spread across his face. Now you know the truth, she said. Your powers, your legacy, your hero story. She stepped closer. It was stolen from me. Peter swallowed hard. I didn't steal anything. Maybe not. Her eyes hardened. "But you're wearing my life." Before he could respond, the ground shook. A rumbling, metallic. Peter turned toward the exit. Elise didn't move. "They found us," she whispered. Peter tensed. "Who?" Her answer was a whisper that chilled his blood. "S.H.I.E.L.D." And overhead, breaking through the ceiling, black armored drones poured in, not controlled by Fury, but by someone else. Someone darker. Someone who had been waiting for her return. Elise's eyes flashed red. "Run if you want," she said. "But this time, I'm not hiding." The drones dropped like rain, silent and black, their armor gleaming with a matte shine that absorbed light. No insignia, no serial numbers, just cold machines built for one purpose: erase threats. Peter yanked Elise's arm. "We have to go." She pulled back, her expression unreadable. "They're not after you." Another drone crashed through the far wall. Its targeting system locked on Peter immediately. "You sure?" he snapped, flipping backward as the drone fired twin stun charges that lit up the air like forks of lightning. Elise didn't flinch. She raised her hand, palm outward, and a pulse of red web energy burst from her skin. It cracked the front drone open like an eggshell. Parts rained across the floor. Two more dropped in behind them. Peter ducked a blade, spun, kicked one in the head, and web yanked its cannon arm clean off. He tossed it aside and turned to see Elise, glowing. Not just her eyes, her whole body, her veins pulsing crimson, her webs moving on their own. Not silk, not tech, something else entirely, something evolving. "What are you?" Peter whispered. "I don't know anymore," she said, and blasted the second drone into the ceiling with a force that bent steel like taffy. Peter fired a tracer onto one of the retreating bots. "Stark AI, follow that signal," he muttered. A reply pinged in his earpiece. "Already on it, but you're not going to like where it leads." Outside, the city was chaos. The drones weren't shields, not Furies, not any known branch. The tracer pinged them to a facility thought destroyed in the Hydra Purge. Facility 0, a place that shouldn't exist. A prison for things too dangerous to live and too valuable to kill. And, apparently, someone had rebooted it. Peter and Elise stood in the wreckage of the safe house, breathing hard. "They were made to counter you," she said. "How would you know that?" "Because I saw the prototypes." She turned to him slowly. "Years ago, they weren't testing me. They were building against me." Peter felt the weight settle in. They created the spider, then built the poison. Facility 0 wasn't underground. It was beneath underground, miles down. Tony's drone guided Peter through layers of ancient tunnels, relics of forgotten wars. Walls hummed with forgotten power. Lights flickered to life as they walked. Elise didn't ask why he followed her. Peter didn't ask why she stopped running. They both knew the answer. Answers live in shadows. And this place? It was made of shadows. When they reached the core chamber, the air was wrong, heavy, sharp, like the entire place was holding its breath. The lights flickered and a voice emerged. Mechanical, cold, familiar. "Welcome back, Subject E1." Elise froze. Peter stared at her. "You knew this place." She didn't look at him. "It's where they trained me, broke me. And now," she raised her hand, red sparks crackling. "Now I'm breaking it back." But the room changed. Walls shifted. Hollow panels flickered. A projection formed in the center, blue and broken. A face. Nick Fury. But not the real one. This was a simulation. Project E1, Elise Parker. Status unstable. Terminated. Mission failure. Spider sequence reassigned to civilian target. Result, Subject P-15. Peter's throat tightened. P-15. Him. He was never the first choice. He was the fallback. The room kept speaking. Threat, Elise Parker. Risk, emotional instability. Assets to be neutralized in the event of exposure. Ben Parker, May Parker, Natasha Romanoff. Peter turned slowly to Elise. Her hands were trembling. "They marked them for death," she whispered. "They didn't die by chance." Peter's voice cracked. "You're saying?" "They let May die," she said. "They made sure no one got there in time." Peter staggered back. His chest burned. His fists shook. His legs wanted to move. Anywhere but here. And then the walls lit up with schematics. Spider drones. Spider weapons. Containment suits. All designed for one purpose. Spider-Man neutralization protocol active. Peter was already moving, blasting the panels apart, webbing the screens. But it was too late. A cold hiss escaped from a vault in the wall. From inside, something crawled. Not a machine. A person. No, a clone. Identical to Peter. But blank. Cold. Mechanical in posture. It opened its eyes, and they weren't his. They were black. Mirror glass. The clone stepped out in a suit that looked like Peter's, but wrong. Sharpened. Armored. Wired into the walls like it belonged to the building. What the hell is that? Peter breathed. The thing they built, Elise said. In case we ever fought back. It moved fast. Peter launched forward, swinging, flipping, landing a perfect right hook. But it didn't react. Didn't flinch. It adapted. Copied. Struck back with twice the force. Peter slammed into a pillar, gasping. Elise fired a web blast that wrapped around the clone's head, but it burned away instantly. Organic we rejected, the clone said in a cold echo. Synthetic override preferred. Peter stood up, nose bleeding. It learns. Elise's eyes flared. Then let's teach it pain. They attacked together. Webs crossed, punches synchronized, acrobatics wrapped around the clone like choreography. But it kept learning. Every dodge got tighter. Every hit got closer. It countered Peter's instinct with Elise's aggression. It mimicked her energy signature. It used Peter's hesitation as leverage. They couldn't beat it because it wasn't trying to win. It was trying to replace them. It didn't want Peter dead. It wanted him obsolete. Peter hit the floor hard. His mask cracked. Blood dripped from his mouth. The clone stood over him. Its voice glitched. I am the better Parker. But before it struck, Elise leapt from above and drove a metal rod straight through its spine. Sparks burst from its back as she screamed, "You're just a copy." She grabbed Peter and ran, dragging him through a collapsing side door as the clone sparked and writhed. Systems rebooting. They made it into a side tunnel. Lights flickering, ceiling dripping. Peter leaned against the wall, coughing. "You okay?" Elise asked. He nodded weakly. "I've had worse." Tuesday. She almost smiled. Almost. Then her face went cold again. "They didn't just erase me," she said. "They tried to replace us both." Peter looked up. There was no more room for doubt. This wasn't about being Spider-Man anymore. This was about who controlled the legacy of pain. Peter stood slowly, and Elise whispered what they both now knew. They're not just trying to end the story. They're trying to write a new one. Without us. Peter stood inside the wreckage of Facility Zero, still bleeding, still shaking, but more awake than he'd ever been. Everything felt colder now. The lies, the files, the clone, all of it. Elise paced ahead of him in silence, fingers twitching with residual energy. Her eyes didn't blink. She was calculating, remembering. They built that clone for one reason, she said. To erase you and overwrite me. Peter nodded. And make sure no one ever asked who came first. The tunnel lights flickered overhead as backup systems kicked in. Somewhere above ground, the real world moved on. Civilians, reporters, Avengers pretending the world hadn't just cracked open beneath them. But down here, legacy was being rewritten in silence. "You saw what they called me," Elise muttered. "You won. Like I was a test. Like I didn't have a name." "You weren't a test," Peter said, voice low. "You were a threat. To them, not to me." She finally turned to him. Her eyes shimmered like they wanted to believe him. Peter took a step closer. "I didn't ask for any of this either. The spider, the powers, the pain. But you think I wanted to become their golden boy? They only embraced me after they realized I'd stay quiet." Elise narrowed her gaze. "Then why didn't you scream?" Peter looked away. "Because I didn't know I was choking." She didn't answer. A sharp word echoed through the corridor. They both froze. A red laser that danced across the floor. Peter shoved Elise aside as a blast hit the wall behind them. The clone was back, damaged, half its face melted, part of its arm missing, but alive. Mission, correction, it said. Elise fired first. A shockwave tore through the hallway. Peter lunged, launching a web slam into the clone's chest, pinning it to the wall. "I'm done being replaced," he hissed. The clone surged forward with inhuman strength, ripping through the webs. But this time, Elise was ready. She wasn't just reacting, she was rewriting the rules. She hurled a dagger made from compressed web energy. It embedded into the clone's chest and pulsed. "Override," she commanded. The clone froze. Its systems glitched. Peter looked at her. "You built that." "I didn't forget what they taught me," she replied. "I learned how to shut their creations down." The clone dropped, sparks twitching from its limbs. Peter stepped over it. "Good, because we're not done." "Facility Zero is just one," Elise said. "There are more, places like this, built in secret, funded by people who never wanted us to exist." Peter stared at her. "Then we burn it down." Elise blinked. "You'd go against S.H.I.E.L.D.? The Avengers." "I'll go against anyone who thought your life didn't matter." Something cracked in her. Not her powers, her defenses. She finally nodded, but above them, a new sound rumbled. Not drones, not the clone, a jet. Peter recognized it instantly, a Quinjet. They were out of time. Elise reached into her belt, pulled out a drive, and handed it to Peter. "Everything I found, every file, every program. You show this to the world." Peter didn't take it. He wrapped her fingers around it instead. "No, we show them." A light above them burst as boots landed hard on the metal floor. Sam Wilson stepped forward, shield in hand, helmet off. "I don't want to fight either of you," he said, "but you're about to bring down everything holding this world together." Peter stepped between him and Elise. "Good," Sam sighed. "Then I guess the new Avengers start with cleaning up the old ones." And behind him, for more figures dropped from the ceiling, not enemies, allies. Rhodey, Shang-Chi, Kate Bishop, Ms. Marvel. And not one of them looked surprised, because they'd read the files too. And they had chosen a side. Sam didn't raise his shield. Not yet. He looked at Peter, then at Elise, then at the burned clone body behind them, still twitching with synthetic life. "You're not the enemy," he said, "but someone wants the world to think you are." Peter stepped forward. "Then it's time we stop playing their game." Sam nodded once. Behind him, the others lowered their weapons. The old Avengers wouldn't have done that. This new generation didn't want blind loyalty. They wanted the truth. Elise held out the drive. "Facility Zero wasn't just for storage," she said. "They kept experiments, ghost records, genetic backups." "What kind of backups?" Rhodey asked. Elise looked at Peter. "Every version of Spider-Man they failed to make before him." Peter's stomach dropped. She continued. "They tried 27 times. Different DNA splices. Kids from across the world. Most of them didn't survive." The room went still. Kamala's voice cracked. "And they buried it? They built a legend," Elise said. "Then erased everyone it cost." Kate Bishop took the drive from her hand. "Then we make them pay, with truth." Above ground, the media had already swarmed the ruined safe house. Tony's AI leaked a sample file to 20 trusted journalists, enough to ignite a storm, but not collapse the world. The headlines hit within minutes. Spider Project revealed. S.H.I.E.L.D. tied to illegal experiments. Peter Parker was never the first. Meet subject Elise Parker. Avengers legacy under question as truth emerges. Inside the jet, Peter sat across from Elise. Neither of them spoke for a long time. When she finally did, it wasn't an apology. It was something deeper. "I thought I'd burn the world down to make them see me." Peter glanced sideways. "You still can." She cracked a half smile. "Not if you're standing in the ashes." Peter leaned back. "For what it's worth, I wish I'd known you sooner." She looked out the window. "You weren't supposed to know me. I was the spider that never got out of the lab." "You still are," he said. "Just not the way they wanted." The jet flew into the night, but the fire was spreading. Senators demanded answers. Fury resurfaced and vanished again. Every Avenger was being questioned, and one by one, they looked at Spider-Man not as a mistake, but as a mirror. At the ruins of Facility Zero, the last surviving clone activated. It didn't speak. It didn't scream. It simply walked away, whispering Peter's movements, mimicking his choices, and fading into the crowd. Because some lies don't end. They evolve. Weeks later, Peter stood at Aunt May's grave. The sky was quiet. No drones. No cameras. Just wind. Elise walked up beside him, wearing a plain coat, no mask, no suit. "She never gave up on you," Peter said. "She didn't even know me. She didn't have to." They stood in silence. Then Elise turned, eyes locked with his. "What happens now?" Peter reached into his pocket, pulled out a small device. He pressed play. Aunt May's voice echoed softly. "Family doesn't come from blood. It comes from the people who stay, even when the world tells them to leave." Elise didn't cry. She didn't need to. Her silence was enough. Peter offered her a hand, not as Spider-Man, as a brother. She took it, and the web, long broken, began to repair itself, one strand at a time.